Hey everybody, it's Comic Steve, and welcome to episode 11 of Comics with Steve. Today we're going to be talking about the markets. What's going on in the world of comic books? Are things going up? Are things going down? Are they flat? We'll find out in this episode. Without further ado, roll that intro. I want to be very clear that nothing I say in this video is financial advice, and to make sure that you're making your own decisions based on data analysis and not just my opinion. And here we are. Today let's talk about comics in general. The economy is having a turbulent time. People are seeing inflation and they're struggling to keep up with it, which means that the comic industry will have less money involved in it, therefore prices will go down. When people can't spend money on their excess hobbies, people aren't going to pay those inflated prices that we saw in 2021. I have a graph that I made that showcases this. Let me pull it up right here. Here we have comics. We have then, and we have now. As you can see here by our graph that we did much research on, comics are in trouble. What that means for you as a collector, as an investor, as someone who just enjoys the hobby in general, it means there are deals. There are deals everywhere. And I'm not just saying that because it is the fourth quarter and we're getting very close to Black Friday. There are deals all over the place to be had. Some may walk through your door. Some you may have to search for it, but they're out there. They're elusive at times, but right now, there's been a surge of them. Get them while they're hot. So, let me tell you where I think things are going with the comic book world. I think things are going up. I think they're going to go up at a steady pace, moving into late 2023. I think the end of this year and the initial parts of 2023 are going to be, the first and second quarter are going to be a little rough on the comic industry. And here's why I think things will go up. Again, one, I think that Phase 4 of the MCU was a detriment to what I call the muggles of the comic collecting industry. The people who were just in it because they saw the movie. They're not staying in this when the shows and the movies aren't doing very well. As we've seen before, some of the shows are being canceled, but I think we're back on the right track with Phase 5. Some of the content coming out is going to be, in my opinion, going to be better done. It's going to have more tie-in with each other again, just like we saw in Phase 1, 2, and 3. Kind of those long-form stories that go throughout multiple movies and multiple character lines. The main thing I see with that is it should bring back in some of those people who were out just because they didn't like the shows anymore or the movies. 2, I think things are going to go up because I believe that after people come out of this, what we call the recession, we start to move towards the late half of 2023, people recalibrated, companies recalibrate some of their pricing, that we're going to see kind of a slow, on pace, moving up of books again. I don't think it'll be a spike. I think it'll be a slow, on pace moving of things, something that's more in line with, say, the Swagelhaus Comic Index. With that being said, I do think that we'll come out of this stronger as a community. The community as a whole will be people who are really into the comic book world. They're really into comics, into the characters. They like the stories, like the art. And my hope is that we can move past what I call the junk grading era, or the grading era, which is what we are in now, where everything that can be graded for any sort of profit is. People aren't grading for the collectability anymore, they're grading because they want to flip the books. Number 3, the DC Universe by Sony. We know that they canceled a few shows, a few movies, and they signed this long 10-year deal to make kind of what the MCU has in some form or fashion. I think starting next year and early into 2024, we're going to start to see the DCU formulate in its phase one. What that means for comic collectors is that there are a lot of books out there that are going to be coming to light, that are still sitting out there in bins and boxes, raw and ungraded. And I think that the frenzy might shift a little bit from Marvel to DC. What that should do for the comic industry is give it kind of a new boost, boom, as you should say, some would say. Something that is great for comic hunters, for people who want to go out and maybe they've seen a collection before, they didn't like it, but now because DC books are on the table, you can go back out and buy those collections and speculate all over again, just like we were doing with the MCU. Number 4, how much worse could it get? Well, everything could go to zero, the world could crash and burn, your soup could burn through the bottom of the bowl and burn your hands. A lot of things could go wrong. Coke could cease to exist. Coca-Cola. I don't know what you were all thinking about. Coca-Cola, the drink. But so many things could go wrong. But at the end of the day, you do this because you love it. You collect comics, you enjoy them, you read them. It is a hobby. It is not the end-all be-all. So make sure you're enjoying your hobby while you have it. You gotta sell something, you can always buy it back later. It's okay to do so. But just make sure, when it comes down to this, if a book goes to zero, it's not a stock. It'll bounce back. The company doesn't go away because your Spider-Man book that you paid $50 for is now sitting at $12. You do this because you love it. Number 5, your local comic shop, local game store, wherever you buy comics from. During rough economic times, they're hurting just like you are. Making sure you're supporting them is a great way to make sure that after the economy kind of comes back up, that you have a place to buy your books from. Support your local comic shop because they need it. They're going to be struggling, some more than others. The bigger ones are probably going to be okay, but your tiny one-person operations may not. So, if you're thinking of picking up a new book, go there, pay cover price. Maybe buy your bags and boards from them, because trust me, when all this dust settles, if they're not there, you're going to wish that you spent a little bit more money there. All right, closing thoughts. This is a little bit more of a serious video, and that's okay. Just remember that everything's going to be fine. The comics you love and enjoy will still be there, ready to be purchased, ready to be bought, ready to be sold in a couple months. Just get through kind of the downtrend in comics, find those deals, build up your collection, and then later on when things kind of go back to normal, you can sell off what you don't want, what you don't need anymore, and go buy the stuff you want. I think at the end of the day, comic collecting is just because we love to do it. And that's all it should be there for. Your extra income can go into it, but don't overextend yourself. You can always buy it later. Without further ado, roll that outro. Number 4, how much worse could it get? That's probably not a good intro, that one.